So, guys, I want us to go back to this story because it seems like we have a response from the Democratic Alliance. And honestly, I don't think the supporters of the DA are going to be happy with this response coming from the Minister of Basic Education, Sevio Khwarube, responding to Mmusi Maimane going to Parliament and attempting to get rid of this nonsensical 30% pass mark. So, a couple of days ago, the leader of Build One South Africa, Mmusi Maimane, went to Parliament and he tabled a motion that was advocating for the gradual increase in the 30% benchmark. Mmusi Maimane was also saying the low pass rate has wider implications for the learners in the future. But then this motion was shut down by the ANC and the DA. And guys, man, if we are being honest, none of us is shocked that the ANC has voted to reject the motion of Mmusi Maimane. 30% has worked out wonders for the African National Congress. They've been happy with this 30%. The only reason why this is a big story today is because the DA themselves have been advocating for the 30% to be scrapped. And today, Mmusi Maimane tables a motion in Parliament that talks into what the DA has been advocating for. And the DA decides to vote with African National Congress. This is the only reason why this is such a big story today. Because of the Democratic Alliance, not because of the ANC. We know that the ANC has been happy with 30%. Just look at the kind of learners that the ANC has produced. They are happy. So Build One South Africa's leader, Mmusi Maimane's motion to have matric pass mark increased from 30% to 50% has been rejected by the National Assembly. The motion introduced by Mmusi Maimane advocated for the gradual increase in the 30% benchmark, saying the low pass rate has wider implications for the learners in the future. And guys, Mmusi Maimane never said, let's go from 30% to 50% at one go. Let's go gradually increase, gradually increase. And the ANC and the DA, they said no. And according to me, the message that was communicated by the ANC and the DA was that 30% is fine. This 30% that South Africans have been complaining about, it is fine. The low quality of teachers that are teaching your children are fine. This is a disgusting message that has been communicated by the ANC and the DA. This is what they are saying. And by rejecting this motion, they are telling everybody there in Parliament that if you're going to come here and try to improve the lives of young people in this country, if you're going to come here and try to improve the education system of young people in this country, we are going to stand in your way. We are not going to allow you to come here with your cleverly 50%. That 30%, it is fine. At the end of the year, we want to tell South Africans that 85% of matriculants have passed. And we cannot do that if you guys push for this 30% to be pushed to 50%. We cannot do that. This is a message that has been communicated to us. I don't know how you guys take it, but this is how I take it. This is how I take it. The motion introduced by Mmusi Maimane advocated for a gradual increase in the 30% benchmark, saying the low pass rate has wider implications for the learners in the future. But the move that called for greater basic education reforms was rejected by the African National Congress and the DA, but received support from other opposition parties. Maimane said the low pass mark has been set up by education authorities to beef up the pass rate numbers. Exactly what I just spoke about. We've seen Njumutera all over television happy that 90% of the matriculants have passed. 85% of the matriculants have passed. We saw that throughout the years. It shows you that these people, the only thing that they care about is presenting these numbers to the people and maybe to the outside world, to try to tell the people in the outside world that we are doing so fine in this country. Our teachers are working so hard. Just look at how many of our children are passing. But behind those numbers are a mess, because these people clearly, they do not care whether these learners are properly educated. They don't care what happens with these learners after. This is the reason why Mmusi Maimane, when he said that this low pass rate has wider implications for the learners in the future, is because if you allow these people to continue passing with 30%, you are just creating a bunch of unemployable people. They are unemployable. They cannot even go to university. They are unemployable. And this is what Mmusi Maimane was saying. That this is the reason why after these people finish matric, it actually gets hard. It gets hard. Because they cannot move. But no, these people are only interested in presenting these numbers to South Africans. And happy with South Africans clapping that, oh, our matriculants are studying so hard. 80% of them have passed. Oh, my goodness, man. This is what they are happy with. They are not genuinely happy with the education system of young people in this country. They actually do not want to produce young people who can compete with other people throughout the world. What these people are saying is that it is fine. South African children, they don't have to compete with the Chinese. They don't have to compete with the Europeans. They don't have to compete with the Americans. They are fine with their 30%. They are fine. As long as we have these high numbers, they are fine with that 30%. Maimane said the low 30% pass mark has been set up by the education authorities to beef up the pass rate numbers. He added that the debate on his motion was important because young people can prove to do better if they receive properly early education development and primary school education. Quote, ending the 30% pass mark is not only stand-alone reform, it signals the seriousness that we uphold our standards. But on Tuesday night, parties voted on the motion, with the two biggest political parties, the ANC and the DA, voting against it, while the EFF, the IFP, and the Action SA voted in support of the motion. Guys, let's get to the response from the Minister of Basic Education, Siviwe Kgarube. You know, listening to this response by Siviwe Kgarube, I don't want to lie, man. It actually reminded me of that conversation that I had with Helen Zille. You remember, guys, I asked Helen Zille about the people in the DA that are frustrated with the DA ministers defending the policies of the ANC. And Helen Zille basically dismissed that. And he said that, no, if you have any complaints, you can come to us and complain to us. Basically dismissing that. But what we are witnessing right now, we are seeing the DA in real time defending the policies of the ANC. I mean, it's almost as if Ramaphosa was meticulous when he placed some of these people in these ministerial positions. Because now they have the Minister of Basic Education from the DA and Ramaphosa going ahead with the Bella Bill. Now, the minister that is coming from the political party that opposes the Bella Bill has to go on the national television to defend the Bella Bill. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Siviwe Kgarube, coming from the political party that opposed the Bella Bill, hates the Bella Bill. The supporters of the DA, they don't want anything to do with the Bella Bill. But Ramaphosa says, no, you are the Minister of Basic Education. Deal with it. Deal with it. And as the president, I am telling you, is going ahead. Go out and tell them that it's going ahead. Now you have the ministers from the DA telling the supporters of the DA that we are forging ahead with the Bella Bill. We understand that you hate this policy, but we are going ahead with it because the ANC is saying so. Now, the ANC says, no, we cannot vote with Mmusi Maimane to reform our education system. The DA votes with them. And guess what? The minister from the DA, the same political party that was advocating for the 50%, is on national television justifying why 30% is fine. Tell me if you think Ramaphosa is not destroying the DA without lifting anything. He's allowing the DA to burn themselves. They are literally burning themselves. just gonna push through with these policies, and these people have no choice. They have no choice, basically. They have no choice but to follow what I say. And I know that these people, and they are the ministers today, they are enjoying the blue lights. They will do anything for the blue lights. They will do absolutely anything for the blue lights. And this is what we are seeing happening in real time. This is what we are seeing happening in real time. This is why a lot of supporters from the DA, they are not happy with John Steenhuisen. Again, when it comes to the land expropriation, John Steenhuisen has been hot and cold on the land expropriation issue. Now you have the people from the DA that are frustrated to say, but John Steenhuisen, you know very well that we oppose this policy of land expropriation without compensation. But now you are hot and cold on national television trying to play the mental gymnastics with the people of this country, trying to stretch out their minds and say something that actually makes sense and something that is not going to make Ramaphosa be mad at you. This is the reason why they say that the DA has totally sold out to the ANC. And whether you like it or not, you cannot unsee it. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. DA totally compromised. They're totally compromised because right now, Sivio Kharube is attacking Mmusi Maimane, saying that this position of Mmusi Maimane is just a populist stance. And Sivio Kharube, instead of addressing the matters at hand, let's deflect.
Firstly, there are three different qualifications: a diploma, a bachelor's pass, a diploma pass, and an ordinary NSC certificate. Last year, 800,000 learners wrote NSC exams. Only less than 200 qualified with the minimum requirement, which is the NSC. So the bachelor's is the highest diploma, and then the NSC requirement. Now, what does the NSC say? It says that you can pass certain subjects with 40% and some with 30%. Why was this allowed to happen? It was allowed to happen because not every single learner in our schooling system is somebody that's going to go on and pursue a medical degree. Somebody said to me on Twitter this afternoon, why would you want a surgeon operating on you who got 30%? It's a myth. And we need to stop making this a populist discussion. Now, let's go back to the vote.
So Sivio Kharube says what we are having right now, it is a populist discussion. She says that it is a populist discussion. Remember that.
Now, let's go back to the vote in Parliament. The reason why this vote was important to vote against is, number one, the leader of BOSA, Dr. Maimane, knows that I'm currently in the process. We've got an independent panel of experts who have been appointed to be able to look at our assessment criteria in South Africa from grade R to grade 12. His misunderstanding of how education systems is the problem, because seemingly fidgeting with the matric pass rate at the end of a 12, 13-year schooling career is not going to lift the quality of education. Yeah. The foundations of learning.
And Sivio Kharube is totally being disingenuous here. But let's start with that statement that she made, that what we are having right now, it is a populist discussion. Guys, tell me something. Was it a populist discussion when the DA was advocating for the matric pass mark to be increased to 50%? Was it a populist discussion? Because right now, Mmusi Maimane is talking about the same thing that these people were talking about in January. But suddenly today, talking about the matric pass going to 50%, it is a populist discussion. So tell me, was it still a populist discussion when the DA was having this conversation in January? This is why I say, like, man, it honestly, once you see how compromised the DA is with this alliance that they've had with African National Congress, you cannot unsee it. You cannot unsee it. Because you cannot tell me the same person in January that was saying the matric pass needs to be pushed to 50%. The person that was advocating for that today is saying, no, it is a populist discussion. This is exactly what happens when you align yourselves with political parties like the ANC. You end up being compromised. you end up being compromised. And Sivyo Kharube also is not being generous here. When he's talking about Mmusi Maimane and Mmusi Maimane pushing for the matric pass rate to be pushed at 50% and not improving the education of young people. Guys, Mmusi Maimane mentioned this time and time again. He mentioned this time and time again. Maimane said the low 30% pass mark has been set up by education authorities to beef up the pass rate numbers. He added that the debate on his motion was important because young people can prove to do better if they receive proper early education development and primary school education. So why is Sivyo Kharube on national television pretending like Mmusi Maimane never addressed the fact that we need to start these people young? We need to give them proper education when they are young. We need to develop them when they are young. Why is she making it sound like this is a point that Mmusi Maimane didn't make? This is what I don't get about her. And that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes when you listen to some of these people from the DA, you listen to Leon Schreiber, you listen to John Steenhuisen, you listen to Sivyo Kharube, you cannot help yourself but hear the African National Congress. Honestly. They did mention that it needs to start young. As much as we are advocating for these ones in matric to go out with 50%, but we understand that we need to start from the bottom, so that these people, by the time they reach matric, they are used to working hard, but not according to Sivyo Kharube.
Learning are important. That's why our focus has been ECD strengthening the foundations of learning, because then you don't have to fiddle with things and tinkering around the edges. If you don't deal with the root causes, Clement, are clear. We know that 8 out of 10 children in South Africa can't read for meaning. That's a literacy crisis. Those children are not going to go on to take maths and science and other gateway subjects if we don't get the basics right. So that's why I'm saying that it
I'm sorry, man. Like Sivyo Kharube, man, it's almost as if she doesn't understand that even if you improve this education for young people at the bottom, you still need to increase the pass rate. The pass rate still needs to be increased, because even if you fix it on the bottom, even if you fix the education of young people from the ECDs, from the primary schools, even if you increase it, but if the pass rate remains at 30%, it's still the same. It's still the same. You can change the content of the education system. You can change the content. But as long as the pass rate is 30%, it's still the same. So even if you talk about improving the ECDs and the quality of the children in primary schools, you still have to talk about increasing the pass rate so that these people can know from a young age that this is what we are working towards. What is the point of giving young people good education, but at the same time keeping the standard of passing very low? How is it going to be different? It is not different. It is not different.
can be a populist argument to say change the pass mark.
Yeah.
What we should be doing is strengthening our curriculum and making sure that children are far stronger throughout the system.
Do you
Even if you can strengthen your curriculum, you still have to talk about the pass rate. This is one thing that they do not want to touch. This is one thing they do not want to touch. And guys, do not be fooled by the noise that she's making. She's not addressing the fact that the 50%, the 30% pass mark, it needs to be increased. This is what she needs to talk into. Man, these people are ANC light, man. You cannot convince me otherwise. You cannot convince me otherwise. These people are ANC light. And obviously, they think that South Africans are slow and stupid. I don't care how much you improve the curriculum. If you are not going to increase the pass rate, then it's still the same. It's still the same. I don't know, guys. I could totally be wrong. But those are my thoughts. What about you guys? Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button, the most important part. Subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye bye.